Hi. Yes, this video is a fundraising video. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to change the world and the culture around me. These are my cliche, but honestly, it's true. So who am I? I'm David. I'm a 20-year-old guy from the Czech Republic. You might know Czech Republic by its capital city of Prague, the city known for its drinking culture and the party scene. And so I'm gonna tell you just my short testimony or story of how God took me on a journey, on this just anything but ordinary journey, honestly. And why am I doing this? Because I just really don't want to miss His will for my life, because He wants to use me for something great in this generation, and I believe that I can be a part of it. So what is this journey that I'm talking about? Well, let me explain. It all started about 4 years ago when my God became real. I grew up going to church. 4 years ago, I would go to youth group, I would talk about God, but I did not know God. I could just, talk about Him, but I would actually not know Him. And actually it was the year of 2015, which actually I started to get to know Him more. But it was still, the relationship between me and God was more like, I want to be this perfect Christian. I want to have the perfect grades. I want to share the gospel with everyone around me. I want to grow. I want to be perfect. And I thought I was supposed to be this perfect, friendly guy. But honestly, my own rebellion against God did not allow me to be anything else than just a grumpy teenager who would go home from school, play video games, and just not talk with anyone. And honestly, 4 years ago, I was not a friendly person. And so, as I was thinking to be this perfect Christian, actually some news happened, and I was just abruptly woken up by the news that my best friend, with whom I would go to school, we grew up in the same village. I would know him from the day that I was born. The day that he was born. We just were best friends from growing up. We would sit together in classes. So I got the news one day. I went to school in the fall of 2015, in October. It was a rainy morning, and I got the news that he passed away. And at this moment, just my legs, hands, everything has shut down, and I was just broken because I didn't know what happened. And the next day, actually, I got the news that he died because of suicide from depression. And so if you can imagine me, I'm here, this just 16 years old guy who is trying to understand God. He's trying to share the gospel, but I actually never did. I tried to be someone who just will go and love on people, but as I told you, I was not a friendly person. I did not talk with anyone. And so this absolutely broke me down, and every single presumption about my life has broken down. I was just broken. I realized how selfish I was. I realized how I was not a friend. And I've realized also how much there's more. I've just realized how blind I was. I literally wrote poems about how blind I was, and I still carry it to this moment. Just it's what I wrote about me, how I feel at the moment. And so, as 2015 October, I was just broken down. I did not know what to do. But I had a hope, because I knew that God was real, and I knew that there's something about Him that can bring hope to other people. When Jesus said that He is the bread of life, He is the life, He is the way. There's something that actually I believed, even though it was just a little hope. I knew that there was something I could do. And so actually things did get better a little bit in 2016, and because I started to just daily pursue God in prayer. And I remember the countless times I would walk home from school for an hour, and I would just have my headphones with worship, and I would just cry out to God to give me a new heart, to use me, and to bring hope to the people around me. Because God simply became my strength, because I did not know what to do, but I knew that there was something about Him that actually could do and could be the change in this culture. And so as 2016 started to close in, my diary, a journal which I've started, has started to fill up with prayers, prayer upon prayer, to just be used by God and to give me a new heart. And then, so 2016, just lots of crying out, honestly. And so then one day in March 2017, actually a group of missionaries came from America to my little church in Pilsen, Czech Republic, and they came simply to pray for our nation. And we were just praying in a prayer meeting, and then one guy, his name was Andrew, just came up to me and just prayed over me and told me about this movement of young people just going after God, pursuing Him, just pursuing Him to change the nation and change the nations. So actually getting to know that there's actually other people longing to see revival, this sparked a hope inside of me, like that I could be a part of something bigger. But little did I know that actually this would become more become a whole life in the future. So this leads me to 2018, March of 2018. In March of 2018, the Americans, which came a year ago, came again to Prague, but now this time as a part of their international Cœur de Love international Cœur de Love tour. And they simply came with the whole team. We had three nights in Prague. First night, worship, and in the first night worship, I was just encountered by God so widely. The second night, we went. It was actually a training class. So Cœur de Love tour, they also do training for evangelism, and I got called out in front of all the people, about 50 people there, and for the first time ever, I spoke the gospel out loud. For the first time ever, after 17 years of being a Christian, 17 years of being a Christian, for the first time, I just, spoke the gospel, shared the good news. And then the third night of this Cœur de Love, another guy, his name was Chase, he just simply came to me, said, and just prayed over me, and broke so many lies about my identity and about my voice. And simply, this shifted my whole world. Like, I can actually do something. I don't have to be quiet anymore. I don't have to carry this burden alone. I can actually be a messenger of the good news. And so this Cœur de Love night in Prague in 2018, it shifted my life so much. Then in October, I decided to join a bigger school. So it's called Circuit Riders Experience. It's a DTS. It's the same system as YWAM. It comes out of YWAM, Youth with a Mission. So it's 3 months of training and then 4 months of outreach. So I would, in these 7 months, got it so much. So I was away from my family for 7 months, but got it indescribably much. So one of the things, for example, when I've told you about my relationships not being the best, not knowing how to be a friend, actually I've learned how to listen. I've learned how to be a friend during these months. And then when I've told you that, I wanted to do something and help other people with depression, I could bring them hope. On our outreach, on our tour, when we went to United States and also United Kingdom and mainland Europe, at night after night I saw people raise their hands that they felt they've been set free from anxiety, and just they would just get a new hope. We would just pray for them, and I heard story after story of someone just crying that they feel loved. And also we went and just saw so many people, so many Christians step out and say, God, I will carry the gospel. I will carry your love to my campus. And so this actually on our first, on the tour in the spring of 2019, we saw over 45,000 people gathered and over 2,200 people saved. And I was just blown away by what God did. So actually my note in my diary in April 2019, when I got home from my DTS, Circle Riders experience, I wrote down, my heart is full for the first time ever. And so my pages in my diary have turned from gruesome regrets to seeing prayers fulfilled, friendships formed, and my vision was clear. I'm here to catalyze a generation to go, to be driven by love, and to reach out to those who yet don't know Jesus. I knew that God was calling me to go back to this school and just be in this missions movement forever. I'm gonna scroll down. I had it written down, it's a lot. But I want to tell you what it's all about. So a few months ago in April, when my DTS finished, I moved to Switzerland in May, and I started working at this house construction company to make some money because I wanted to pay off a debt I had from my past. And I was working the whole summer, but unfortunately, I was not able to save up enough money to go back to missions and go back to be a part of the Circuit Rider movement. But I know for a fact that God wants to use my media skill set to use me and to bring hope and to bring training and to just catalyze this new generation. But so this September, when I'm gonna be flying back to California to join Circuit Riders, I need to be supported by people just like you who would just invest their money into me so I could focus on using my skills to bring God's kingdom. I'll be in the fall, I'll be working on projects, on media projects, like the Carry the Love Descent, which is a stadium gathering. I'll be working on Awaken the Dawn project. I'll be also alongside of all of this, I'll be house leading, meaning I'll be a leader, a staff of our community house. So I'll be leading about 10 young guys to just go after God, and I just want them to wholeheartedly pursue Jesus. And then in the spring, in 2020, I will go back to Europe to our international Care the Love tour, and we will go on universities in UK, in Europe, and we will just do what God called us to do, to set Christians and to bring hope to their lives and to give them training and to just activate them into their evangelistic calling, because that's what happened with me in 2018. God just simply came into my life through a missionary group, and my heart, since that day, I've shared the gospel with so many of my friends, and so I just want to do the same now, and I just want to pray for people. I want to help with the media again, to just call and gather Christians to join in and together go after God, after changing the generation. And then, so there will be the spring. And then in the future, in the next years, I know I'm supposed to be with Circuit Riders. I just don't know where. So probably Europe. I want to go and serve back in Europe. I want to serve in Czech Republic. I want to serve in United Kingdom. I want to serve in all the countries in Europe and all the nations, honestly. But why do I want to be a missionary? because I don't want ever my friends to feel so unworthy so they would take their own life. That was a defining moment for me when I realized there's people who don't have the peace from God. And I don't ever want to feel the way that I would withhold anything from them. I would not give them the Jesus that I have, the hope. And I cannot bear this burden of like, I want to do something and not do anything radical. So that's why I want to do something radical. I mean, Jesus suffered and died to give us freedom. And He has sent us to go to the nations. He literally said, go into the nations. So I want to just be a full-time missionary starting this September. And God has prepared for me all of this, and I'm doing this when I'm going to be part of the Circuit Riders. I'm not going to receive any form of salary. This is all volunteering. And this is why I need you. I cannot do this alone, you know. I cannot... I want to give God my 100%. And I know that He wants me 100%. But because the Circuit Riders, we are so busy in like our projects, I don't have the time for a part-time job. So I'm actually raising a goal of $1,000 a month I'm fundraising this amount to also I will be able to pay for my rent and my food and my other few expenses like flights, so that I could focus on being full-time into missions and focusing on praying and media and leading. And so if it's you who would like to support me in this and support the dream of mine, because I've told you my story about my friend, I've told you the story about being me, myself, catalyzed and activated to be an active Christian. If this is something that you would like to invest into, I just ask you that you would pray and reach out to me, and I've set up a ways so you can do the donations, but I would just love to connect with you, and I just ask you to pray and consider doing it. I'm gonna be obviously sending a new newsletter, I will keep you updated what I'm doing. But if this is something that you would like to do, I just say yes and thank you. Thank you so much.